Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Roke Odunaya. That's the senior officer, Ogun State, talking about estate, lands, and planning. Right about now, quickly, I'm going to be inviting our father, Mr. Abel Sholanke, to come and answer some questions on agriculture. Can we put our hands together for him, please?
Thank you very much. Lord Bishop, and I stand on the existing protocol. I go straight to the questions, and as much as possible, I will give direct answer. The first one is wheat imported or planted here? If I want to go into wheat farming, how do I go about it? Wheat is imported, and of course, we have attempted to plant wheat in Nigeria. But one thing is, which we have neglected, is what is our comparative advantage. In some places, they can, for example, you plant wheat, you get about 10 tons per hectare. Then if you plant wheat in Nigeria, you can hardly get half a ton. So don't pursue what you can just plant. Because of the yield, you have to think of the yield. If you plant the seed, it will sprout. But what will it give you? So my answer is, even though it can sprout, you are not just planting to see the flower. You are planting to see the seed. So don't plant seed. Instead, go for maize. Because that is where our comparative advantage is, or something that will do better in our environment here. Please, what is animal dung or chicken used for? That is organic fertilizer. And you know, I've just made it clear that it is cattle dung. But when you see it in some places, they tell you organic fertilizer. And when they tell you about organic plant or organic seed or whatever, that is what they mean. They have not used chemical fertilizer. They have used poultry droppings. Poultry droppings are very rich in those things they use to make the poultry feed. So, if you use that as fertilizer, you get more nutrients into your soil, and the production will be better. Whereas cattle dung, what cattle eat? Mostly grass. So, cattle dung for organic fertilizer is of low quality. We spend our hard-earned money to buy. In the case of flour export, is it stem or the flour? It is what we call the flour ball, like rose. You know, when it opens, the smell. Don't be surprised. The perfume we buy, it is the real smell or aroma or whatever it is gotten from flour. They process it and extract the smell out of the flour. So it is the flour. And you know, when they cut it with, for effect, they cut it with some leaves. I've also cut the bulb. Yes, we go into it, and this is something we can go into. If you visit these developed countries, you don't see bushes, except that you know it is foreign reserve. What other things will you see? It is either farms that are being cultivated or plantation. So we can go back to our village even if we cannot plant crops. You can plant things that the generation coming behind us can also characteristics of those things that are common in my village was pigs and coffee. We call it cafe. When the tree is still there, but which I hope I'll be able to re-establish in our village. Someone intends to venture into business, especially on agriculture, but finance is handicapped. No opportunity of loan. What do you think can be done? I have so many questions on loan. Let me just read them and I can take them all together. On the issue of taking loan from BOE, we can cooperate. We as cooperative have tried several times, but loan has not been given. Do you have people to contact so as to get a loan? In as much as bank loan is not advisable for a fresher to starter in business, but don't you think that business should also want to, bank will also want to do business with already existing farmers in business? In a nutshell, do you think so? So I think the person is writing maybe on behalf of the bank. From experience, I say that apology that we don't have banks in Nigeria. What we have are cash centers. Because you hardly get a bank that will finance a project for up to 5 years without you knowing the big guys. What they do is to finance short-term business. So that is why you see that while importation, short-term thing thrives because finance is there. All these people who sell their parts, they get access to loan. But if you go there, no matter how lofty your proposal is, if it is agriculture, they know the risk. And they know if there is a long-term project, they don't attend to it. So, I mean, I can say it anywhere that our banks are not helping matters. And yes, if we take it that they don't help matters, what do we do? It is to help ourselves. That is why I have suggested that maybe one of the takeaways from our gathering here is to form cooperative. The diocese can pioneer that. I was surprised. I belong to Abeokuta John. And if we too can form cooperative, so you see that we can have resources, a pool of funds that people can come into, especially our members who can go through their church, their activity, and maybe to the diocese to have funds. If we don't create savings, there can never be funds. And then somebody talked about this BOE and even central bank loan. Yes, it is difficult to get loan as an individual. In the north, they get loans as individuals because the state government will provide the counterpart funding, which we don't do here. I belong to a group, we try to convince the state government. They kept on promising us. Those who wanted to take loan to plant maize, and we all submitted application, we were still at that point, I stopped. So, our government is not helping. And what do? We can help ourselves. ourselves by forming our own cooperative, pool resources so that our members can have access to loans. I hope I have dealt with all these things from loans. So then there's another question that talks about planting and cattle farmers coming to raid such farm. Maybe some people will hold me guilty of that, but I try to avoid that. What I will say, on Yorùbá ní ó dàbí olóko tó ní òògùn Ìbàdàn torí olè. Wọ́n ní ebi àpòlóko. But I disagree with that. Olóko lè bí máa pa ìṣòlè. Because olè á lọ sí omi láti lọ gbà tó máa jẹ. The same thing with these cattle rearers. If you say you don't want to go into farming because of cattle rearers, the cattle rearers will always get another place to raid. It is you that you should farm as part of your planning is how to safeguard your farm. It's part of your planning. I won't say you just plant. You can imagine the bubble shops, don't they? When you say that you don't open shop, you want to because of burglars. So that you know that yes, as I want to open shop, I must reinforce such shop. So the thing, and then the other aspect of it is that there is a law now against open grazing. And I know that all this nonsense we are having is a phase, and it's a passing phase. About this time next year, you will see that all the activities of these bandits, planners, and all the rest of it will have gone down because they feel that their man is at the end of affairs, they can do anything. That is why I said I'm an Egba man, and yet I am a cattle rearer. Cattle rearing is not for a particular tribe, and it should not be limited to that. So, the thing is that by the even yes, the law has been enacted about a year ago. They didn't. I know that the government is watching. By the time, may be encouraged to protect the farmers as they should do, because in my farm, I don't allow my animals to graze to destroy other people's farm. And on a final note, some people have